like the second time I've hit myself in the face with that mic.
Well done. That's a good one. But not as good as these guys are at StarCraft down here at the bottom. See that transition? Down here at the bottom left-hand corner, we have our blue Zerg player from the team FXO Open Esports. It's JKS. He's going up against this guy here in the top right-hand corner. He's our red Zerg player from Team SCV Life. It's Ragnarok, guy who makes an appearance in a lot of Team League situations for TSL.
Yeah, fantastic Zerg player. And, you know, Daybreak is a map where people can go for early pools. But we're approaching the 10 supply mark here. And honestly, on Daybreak, 10 pool is not so incredible against the hatchery first openings as it may be on smaller maps. You're going to cross so much distance, and if they happen to go for some sort of 15 hatch play, then, you know, the follow-up into, like, you can, if you followed it up into like a really quick pool, like 15 hatch, 14, 15 pool, you're not going to be in nearly as bad of a position. It could completely hold on, but yeah, so honestly, pool openings and hatchery openings, both completely viable here from these players at this stage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we talk about this map in non-mirror matchups a lot as having very narrow running paths. Even though there's a lot of attack paths and there's a lot of places you can maneuver, not just through the air, but also through the ground, all those paths are very, very small. So it's pretty easy to lock those down with fungal growths, and that's usually what you'll see here as players will tend towards infestors. Of course, I always hope, you know, in mirror matchups that we see two players go for completely different strategies. I'd love to see one guy go for mutas, one guy go for infestors, just to see them play off each other. ZVZ has been developing quite a bit lately and becoming a very fun matchup to watch, but yet it's still more interesting to me when they divert paths and go for something completely off the wall.
Yeah, it's you know, having, especially we've talked about this a few times, muta versus muta, it really just comes down to a battle of who has the most mutalist. There are defensive opportunities, as I know you really enjoy when it comes to mutalist, Kevin.
I do. You want to be the defender. You want to have Zerglings underneath yourself to make sure that you're absorbing Glaveworm shots. There's a lot of cool things you can do with Micro. Ragnarok decided to go for gas quite a bit quicker than his opponent. You can see he's already taking it in right now, so he'll have that bit earlier Zergling speed when the time comes. But otherwise, not much to differentiate between these two guys. Pretty standard stuff so far.
Yeah, and it is a mirror match, of course. So when people, you know, tend to be opting for similar strategies that are, you know, they go for the same tech routes, it's pretty unexciting in most cases. You know, so we like seeing them go for the different tech routes, but it's still more exciting than, you know, people going for the same tech routes when they're different races. You wind up in a situation where it's obvious that, you know, if the Zerg player is making Colossi, he's pretty ahead. He managed to grab that probe tech all the way up to, you know, Robotics Bay. It's like, all right, really? Like, why is this game not ended at this stage?
I want that to be a real competitive thing. I want there to, in an honest-to-God competitive game, in an hour-and-a-half-long game, I want to see a neural-parasited SCV or probe and someone who attacks with, like, Broodlord Battlecruiser, because that would be fantastic. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention today, though, for all of our U.S. viewers, it is Election Day, so if you are of legal age to vote, please do your civic duty. Get out there. I do not care who you vote for as much, although I have my own opinions. I'm sure if you follow me on Twitter, you've been exposed to them a lot. I won't bring them up on air, but, you know, it doesn't matter who you're looking to vote for. Make sure you do vote. You do your civic duty, though, and otherwise you just have no reason to complain for the next 4 years. Absolutely.
No, it is definitely really important to make sure that I actually talk about this one a lot. So many people, you know, they go out, they vote for the president, but really, if you want to be making an impact in your community, your statesmen. They're just so important. That's the one that pretty much you get all the seniors voting for, and it really is important to make changes. But guys, Zergling's getting in here at this stage now, where we're in, you know, a world where voting is not as important. I doubt that the hive mind probably has a governing body. You know, it's pretty much just the Overmind. It's really just, he just rules everything.
The Overmind has done something really weird here and told JKS not to build a Bailing Nest. Whenever you go hatch first, it's so risky to not go for that Bailing Nest. And in fact, he's actually putting down a third hatchery. We're at the 10 o'clock position, so hatchery's coming up. There are Zerglings that are going to get a good read on this. Oh, they're actually morphing into Bailings. That would have been so advantageous for Ragnarok to pick up on that a bit earlier. It looks like he'll still cross that path, so he'll get the nice early scout on it, but I think he'd already be moving out that way if he knew what was coming.
Oh, this could be dangerous for JKS. It looks like he's being aggressive while he's got Bailings coming into his Mineron. Let's switch to his vision. See if he's actually looking right. No, he's looking at the Zerglings. He does see the Banelings coming into the mineral line. Looks like he's going to get his drones away just in time and actually sacrifices 2 of them, but a pretty good trade there, honestly, for JKS. Ragnarok not getting a large hit, so.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at the workers killed, or not workers killed, but the overall worker count. You can see it 36 to 33, so even with the 2 workers lost, he didn't have to invest in the Baneling Nest all that early and still maintains a worker advantage. So in the end, it worked out for him, but he certainly is still going to have to watch out for the next couple of minutes. Is he teching up to roaches yet? Is he going for a layer? What is he doing? Okay, so he's going for the Baneling Nest, the Roach Warren, Evolution Chamber all at the same time so we can invest towards the late game. But Ragnarok's actually putting pressure on that 3rd right now.
Yeah, he is. We do see a lot of Zerglings coming into this. 2 Banelings as well are going to be able to play defense. We see only 1 Roach currently on the way and none on the field whatsoever. Now, the worker count for JKS is pretty huge, but he's going to lose this hatchery, and we see that behind this, actually, Ragnarok is throwing down a 3rd of his own, so expect him to, he's actually not going to pull out. Well, heads onto the ramp and picks off that Baneling. Wow.
That was so close to morphing in. That actually would have been about 10 dead Zerglings there and given JKS the opportunity maybe to push across and re-deny his opponent's 3rd. But as it stands, the Baneling just barely killed in time. Ragnarok can breathe a sigh of relief because he kills that hatchery. Wasn't canceled, so it was outright 300 minerals lost there for JKS.
That's definitely quite a blow. And on top of that, I mean, Ragnarok behind all of this has got his own. These Banelings are dancing back and forth right now with the Zerglings. Look at this control out of Ragnarok. Just assigning 1 or 2 lings. These Banelings getting so low. 1 down to just 1 hit point, in fact. And the 2nd Baneling at least makes a marginal trade, but wow, nice play there out of Ragnarok, not only denying the 3rd, but also killing off those Banelings and all those lings.
Yeah, so manages to get a little bit of a reward there, establishes himself a nice lead. I mean, his 3rd hatch is just finishing up, so I'm sure he'll be sending some stuff over there in just a bit to saturate that. Actually gets into his opponent's main and has the potential to do a little bit of damage here. Actually looks like he's being chased off pretty quickly, so Ragnarok not going to get too much done. He's just going to try and be annoying, but it looks like he's... oh, wow, actually trying to go for the Queen. Queen's getting pretty low. The Banelings are coming around from the side. It looks like they will just be able to save it, so nice job there by JKS to not take any initial or any additional damage, I should say.
Yeah, Queen did get down to 35, but survived. Had to trade a couple of Banelings, of course, to make that happen, but looks like the 3rd is finished for Ragnarok. We see a lot of drones transferring down on there, and he's up to 57, in fact. Over the 48 currently for JKS. Both players sitting at about 10 roaches. Let's take a look at the production tabs. We see 5 on the way. Actually, I mean, this is just a fantastic position for Ragnarok all around. He is up on drone supply. Both players are currently making roaches. We do see 6 for JKS, but look at the timings here. Everything's almost identical. The only advantage JKS will have here, Kevin, is burrow.
Let's take a look at the workers, if you don't mind, for one more time, or units tab overall. Okay, so pretty even right now. JKS does have a slight advantage there, but he's only now saturating that 3rd base, as we can see him starting to float some drones over there. So Ragnarok has basically built a lead that's entirely based on army as he finishes up 13 roaches at about the same time. And even though he is just slightly behind on those upgrades, unfortunately, JKS doesn't have an opportunity to utilize his pathogen glands here. He's only got enough gas, and I just used it. I was going to say for 1 infester, but it's he's going to be really lacking there, and Ragnarok's going to have a little bit better brute force army.
Yeah, he is pushing out, and as you said, the he has burrow, of course. But he did complete that infestation pit, but has no gas. So he's not going to have any infestors when this attack comes to hit, which is going to be in just a second. We see Ragnarok poking down in the bottom, trying to pull the roaches, maybe out of an ideal concave position. This is a pretty good engagement for JKS for the moment, but more roaches for Ragnarok coming in from the bottom. The roach count favoring Ragnarok by about 3 roaches here. We see he's falling back, but yeah, 16, 17 roaches to almost 24 for Ragnarok. Ragnarok with a definite advantage, but look at so many roaches on the low ground, not firing. Ragnarok forcing his way up the ramp, and definitely pulling the advantage here. 16 to 12 roaches currently remaining in this position of combat. Ragnarok streaming reinforcements in across the field.
Yeah, but very slowly. I mean, this is the opportunity that JKS can try and make a stand, as if he can reinforce a little bit quicker, but even then he can't fight back this tide. He's got 1 infester on the way, but 1 alone is not going to be able to turn the tide here. Nice job. Ragnarok actually just going to pick off the Roach Warren, gets it, streams out of there, still managing to kill more roaches on the way out, does his damage, resets his opponent's tech by about 50 seconds, and that should give him the time he needs to be able to make up the difference in overall army count here.
Yeah, it absolutely should. We need to see infestors out of JKS. It's the only way he's going to be able to deal with the fact that Ragnarok is going to be able to make units for the next couple of moments, as we can see 7 more roaches currently popping out, and JKS cannot make roaches for some time still. 2 infestors on the way, but is that going to be enough?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's still awfully rough. He had banked enough resources that he needed to just dump down 20 Zerglings because he really had nothing else to spend his money on. No fourth hatches coming out of both players yet. Maybe there's something circling up to the inside expansion there. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, yeah, it looks like there is actually a hatchery that's being put down. So Ragnarok is going to take an economic advantage here. He's got an army advantage. He's caught up on infestors. Even though he hasn't started any yet, he's not going to be significantly behind because his opponent wasn't able to make really all that many.
Oh, nice play by Ragnarok. He's going to catch these Zerglings that were swinging around the back for a little bit of a harassment counterattack. Meanwhile, Roaches and Infestors. Oh, nice fungal out of JKS. He's going to catch himself 6 free Roaches. He does have to throw down a second fungal to wrap up, and it looks like one of them got away.
Yeah, so a good little catch there, and JKS needs these little advantages now to make sure that he has a place in this game. He's trying to put up his own fourth base. He's got a macro hatch coming up at the same time, so both these guys mirroring each other once again. Ragnarok just with a little bit advantage overall, pretty much all categories, just slightly in army, slightly in economy, and trying to press his advantage home.
Roach is coming down, but this is such a good concave out of Ragnarok. JKS, whoa, that fungal growth catching about 9 or 10 Roaches. Another big fungal growth, but I don't know that there's enough Roaches here, Kevin, for JKS to actually take this.
Yeah, that was not a bad moment for him, though. I mean, Ragnarok was forced to engage before all of his infestors were up, so JKS trades a lot more cost effectively than he would have otherwise. Yeah, he doesn't kill everything that's there, but that was still much better that he could have hoped for. Oh, but this is going to be awfully rough as these Zerglings ducking in, killing a good number of drones, and looks like JKS has to bring everything back to deal with that.
Yeah, he certainly does. No burrow in existence for Ragnarok, but he's using this to grab position. He's going in with his Roaches and his Infestors from the south, his Zerglings from the north. Wants to try to take out this fourth. He's going to see if he can do it. Roaches engaging on the bottom. Not the best concave here for Ragnarok. He's caught a little bit forward. Infestors getting fungled, infested. Terran's going to be thrown down, but it looks like JKS for the moment should be able to hold this.
Okay, well, we'll see if that's going to be the case because there's more and more units starting to stream in for Ragnarok now, and he is up by a significant amount of supply, but JKS does stabilize for the time being. Most of those Roaches, as you're pointing out, are in production at the moment, so they're not actually on the field, but as they start to hit, they're going to be supplemented with a few Zerglings too, so the frontline attack force for Ragnarok actually going to be quite powerful.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is just such a dangerous position because Ragnarok, he's up in economy, he's also significantly up in army. Look at this, 6 Infestors to 2, 34 Roaches to 15, and as you were saying, 20 Zerglings about to pop out here. Everything looking in Ragnarok's, and he's got +1 carapace on the way. The only thing we can really see for JKS that's in his favor is that he's got burrow, and that's only going to last as an advantage for the next 60 seconds.
And it looks like Ragnarok may just decide to go despite that. I mean, he does have the overseer overhead, so it's not going to make that big of a difference. And he did an effective job of pinning some of the units up towards the extractors with those Zerglings that just swung in. It allows him the opportunity to fungal down and get a much, much superior engagement here. And Ragnarok is just steamrolling this army. JKS GG's. TSL takes game number 1 here, this best of 9.
What a game there between those two players. JKS and Ragnarok looking pretty equal early on. And then we kind of just saw a little bit too much economic damage done to JKS. He fell behind on the worker count. And then Ragnarok got that, of course, the third being picked off. Ultimately, I mean, when he lost the third, took his own and really got away with the saturation, got ahead in that Roach count, put him in a real good position.
Yes, it did, and that's our first game in the bag. ZVZ was there, and coming up next for FXO's The Best! Yes! That's, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so happy whenever I see The Best. I like his style of play. I think he's awesome. Banshee miscontrol jokes aside, I love watching him play. So, TVZ, it looks like it's going to be our next game. Shout out to our friends over at Shoot Mania, though, Naughty and Ubisoft's new FPS game. They're actually giving you guys a lot of tickets to IPL 5 general admission tickets. So if you want to take advantage of that, head over to IGN.com/IPL5 promo. Again, that's IGN.com/IPL5 promo. That's it up at the top. You can claim your free ticket there, but they only last a limited amount of time, and there's only a limited number of tickets available. So grab them while you can, and hopefully we'll see you out at the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. We would love to. We'd absolutely love to see you there. Tweet at us if you win, but you can't win unless you apply. So go do that.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to run to a commercial break, and when we get back, it'll be time for game number 2 between FXO and TSL.